All right. I mean, football's Friday. I can't believe it. Detroit and the Chargers Hall of Fame game? My goodness. Hardest working guy in Philadelphia sports is my boy here. Let me say this to you, man. They were working hard all weekend. I think Saturday they had practice. Then today they had shoulder pads, shorts, and helmet. So they're almost at the very end of the ramp up now. Don't forget, right after the program, you're going to have Birds 365. Guys gave great content the entire week. And without further ado, it's my boy, Big Z, Zander Krause.
What up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Oh, good. How was the weekend, man? A lot of stuff over the weekend, huh? I mean,
man, no doubt.
We're here, aren't we, bro?
We really are, man. When weekends are filled with football, you know we're here, man, because I was talking football all weekend, and feels good for this team to be back out in the field. You mentioned last week was kind of our first official football Friday, and it felt like it still. So I had a great weekend, man, and I'm ready. I am ready for the Birds this year.
What was your big takeaway over the weekend? Was there any takeaway yet?
Jahad Campbell is coming. Keely Ringo, the questions are maybe bigger than ever. Andrew Makuba, I don't know. I'm almost ready to say if you want to go and repeat this year, you might want to think about adding a guy to the secondary.
Wow, Zander.
Well, I just don't want to go into the year where it's like you can't play life safe too many times. If you can identify early in this process that they're going to be a weak link, I mean, what are you waiting for? You got an opportunity here that's rare, that teams dream of, that team, GMs fall asleep with their head on the pillow dreaming of their team being in this spot. You're one of the 5 best teams in the league, man. Like, don't fucking waste it to try and, make your balls tingle over fucking Andrew Makuba and Keely Ringo. Like, I don't really care if you're wrong. So, I don't know. I'm not ready to say go and get somebody yet, but I would keep your eye on it. That's for damn sure. So, those are my takeaways so far. Gave you the positive and the negative. I like where Campbell is, though. I like where Campbell is.
How about this, Zander? I think people are being jaded by Cooper and by Q, how fast their growth was last year, where Makuba and Ringo may be slow growth. Let's not forget something here. Brandon Graham was a slow growth player. It took a little time for that guy to get his footing. I get where you're saying. You don't sound very patient.
Well, I don't think it's that. I mean, this is year 3 for Ringo. Makuba, all right. If Makuba can't play this year, all right, whatever. It's year 3 for Ringo. Like, remember, we approached last season with the chance that Ringo would be out on the field. He didn't even play in the reserve role last year. So how patient you want me to be, Sills? You want me to give him a second?
I agree.
You want me to give him a second contract? What I mean? Like, it's time. And
they've demoted him. He's on the second team now.
Yeah, now this is the bigger dilemma. Do you feel good about Adoree Jackson if Ringo can't go?
No. I feel okay about Adoree Jackson.
I feel okay too.
I feel okay about
I feel probably a little better than you.
But no. I mean by okay, he's competent out there. I feel, but I tell you what I would feel. Would you ever think about doing this? Why don't you put Ringo in that nickel and put Coop out there on the corner?
Yeah, I don't know. Ringo and nickel, he's too big for that. He's 6'3", 6'2". He can't play right nickel. Maybe safety. He's kind of a prototypical safety build.
He sure looks that.
Yeah. I mean, he looks at more than Makuba, who looks like a nickel. Makuba's tiny, dude.
Yeah.
Did you see the pictures of Makuba out there?
Yeah, he's tiny.
I'm not trying to pick on the dude, but that's a small dude. That dude's he's got to put some weight on.
Yeah,
I think I'm bigger than that dude.
Yeah,
he's a little shrimpy.
I came away with this. The first week, the 2 dudes, if I said something like the 2 dudes that first week of practice hurt, it's clearly Ringo and Makuba. Okay, do you bring in Justin Simmons?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Deshae says he's built like Cam Chancellor. All right, Deshae. I don't know what you see, but I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that either. That's not
Cam
true.
Chancellor was a beast.
Yeah, Cam Chancellor's no way.
He's a long way from that, dude. Like years away from Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor was a little shorter, but he was a stout dude. What'd you say? Sorry, you're quiet. I got distracted by the chat.
I mean, should you bring in?
Oh yeah, Simmons.
By the way, Cam Chancellor 6'3", 225.
Yeah, he wasn't even short, Cam Chancellor. He was big. McCool was like 5'10".
Cam Chancellor 6'3", 225.
Wait. Deshae, I knew it. Once you said he was talking about Ringo.
Oh, Ringo.
He was talking about Ringo. My bad, Deshae. I should have picked up on that. Yeah, with Simmons, here's my question on him. I want to get better if we can, but are we sure that that's the answer?
No.
Because I don't know how much that guy has left in the tank. I don't know if it's a good thing to add I don't know what he is, 32, 33 years old, guy to the defense like that. I'm not really sure. So I'm not really sold that guy's the answer. But I don't think it's going to be Sidney Brown. And Makuba just looks a little too small for me. Somebody in the chat this morning said, "Oh, he's CJ Gardner-Johnson size." And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Gardner-Johnson is a playmaking dude with experience.
I watched Gardner-Johnson, blitz and deck. I forget what running back. He cleaned his clock at the line of scrimmage last year on a 4th and short. Who remembers that play? Does anybody really think that Andrew Makuba could make that hit in the NFL?
No way.
I don't think so.
Boy, I got to tell you what John said last week. Maybe I'm gonna go with what he said, and you know what? Maybe he was ahead of the game with this. The sense of urgency on signing guys. I mean, boy, you really took a gamble on some of these dudes, and if they kind of limp out of the gate on you here, remember who you have in the first 4 weeks. You can say whatever you want about Dak. You got Dak, you've got Mahomes, you've got Stafford, and you got Mayfield, all 4,000-yard passing quarterbacks that know what to fucking do with the football when they see a missing link down there. I'm telling you, if you don't figure it out, Zander, those 4 quarterbacks are going to figure it out for you.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good way to put it, dude. It's a good way to put it. They're going to have some tests really early in the year, and it should be great. Wait, I gotta chirp somebody. I gotta chirp. So look at this. Brian Pumper says Zander is the biggest cat. Wait, so this is the funniest part about Pumper. Pumper's favorite players coming into the year are Sid Vicious, Sidney Brown, okay? Keely Ringo, my 7th heaven, he calls him, okay? And Johnny Wilson. Maybe 3 of the biggest scrubs right now that are projected to make the 52-man. Those are the 3 guys that Brian Pumper has put his stake on. And he wants to come in here and say, Zander's a casual. Brian Pumper, your IQ is sub 70, my guy. Hey. Sit down, shut up, kick your feet up, and enjoy the show, bro.
Hold on here. I got to tell you, Pump, I think that dude they signed from Carolina, I think that dude's going to squeeze someone out the door, man, because he's had a great week. That Terrence guy's had a good week, dude. They like him. AJ was right.
He was good in college. He was a good football player in college, and he played his professional ball at Carolina. I mean, anybody's going to write off somebody's career in Carolina, especially an offensive skill position player. You know what I mean? Like where they have the worst lines ever. They're just not going to succeed over there. So, I'm not writing him off, man.
What'd you make of Kevin Patullo at the mic over the weekend?
I thought good, man. He sounds a lot more confident than I expected. Confident, comfortable, in command. I thought some of the players spoke today about him, and you can tell that they feel the presence too, which is a good thing. It's not an easy thing to go from players view you as a position coach, you know what I mean, or a secondary guy basically to the other guys, and then you kind of have to jump into the leadership role. That's not the easiest jump to make for people. So I thought the way the players spoke about him was pretty good. I thought he commanded the mic good. And I think the biggest credit to him is Jalen Hurts seems to be giving him a lot of credit, So I think it's all good right now with Kevin Patullo.
I'll tell you what I didn't like. I don't really think they're sold on Tyler Steen. He's coming along. He's getting better. He looks good. I mean, then when he was asked about A.J. Dillon, he's like, that dude's a different dude. That dude's enormous. He catches the football. He was really high on him. And I got to tell you, I'm high on him now, just as long as he's healthy. But here's my concerns right now, Zander. You got 38 days to figure this out. Guard, safety, and the corner. I feel pretty good listening to the guys talking about Jalix Hunt and Moro Ajomo. I feel pretty good listening. I'll tell you what, I was impressed with Moro Ajomo.
Yeah. Did you listen to him today?
You bet I did.
He's a calm, cool, collected dude, man. You can
Cerebral guy.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. I think he's going to have a big year, which is why me and Johnny Mack had a debate about him a couple weeks ago. John's trying to tell me that Milton Williams is this inconceivably good defensive tackle that Eagles fans have completely forgotten on his way out the door. And if they think that Moro Ajomo can be anything like Milton, we are so wrong. Okay, let's see. I think Moro Ajomo is going to be pretty damn good. And I also don't think Milton Williams was irreplaceable. I mean, you got you're included in this.
Yeah,
you
you're
guys
damn
talk
right.
about Milton Williams.
You're damn right. I don't believe you have a guy
catalyst for the number one defense.
I don't believe you have a guy in that football team that could play 1,100 snaps. No way.
Well, Moro Ajomo played 500 last year.
Okay, well let's find out.
Yeah, he's got to double it up. I mean, he's got to get a lot more. I agree with that, and I think Jordan's going to eat up some more based on what I'm hearing from Vic about that. You heard the Vic question that Vic took about that. He said it's going to be a combination of Moro and Davis. If Ty Robinson can be anything, I think this year, I think that gives you a positive. It gives you some reinforcement on the back end. So I feel pretty good. I feel better about the defensive line today than I did coming into camp. I thought even Ojulari sounded pretty good today. You know what I mean? Like now, again, what they sound like doesn't really matter. I care about what they do in the football field. But I definitely feel a little bit better about the defensive line as compared to where we were a week ago when we were starting this thing. And then I feel probably a little bit worse about the two guys in the secondary that they're trying to replace. But I got to push back on you about one thing. Well, not push back because I don't disagree with you, but your comments on Quinyon Mitchell, and I don't think you were hating on him or anything, but I think you were just explaining, press cover corners are going to get paid. I think the Eagles are going to pay. I think when my bold take on Quinyon today would be when Quinyon gets paid in 2 years, I guess it would be, he'll be the highest paid corner in football, whether he plays man or not, because that's the way the Eagles do business. And I don't think they're going to let that label stop them from making him the highest paid corner in football. That's the only spot of it I would disagree with you.
Well, here's why they'll possibly do that is because he's going to be asked to do more. He's going to be asked to travel. He's going to be asked to do certain things that are different than he didn't do a year ago. You know what he's actually taking on this year? He's taking on more the Slay role and his role. Yeah. Because he's going to travel. So I'm going to pay for that.
Which is a bigger role. I mean, Slay didn't travel at all last year. Slay never traveled. So
let me say again, it wasn't a rip. It's just
no, I didn't think you were ripping him. I was just saying you were saying for 100 years, the highest paid corners in football have always been the press man. And you're right about that. But I do think with the way the game is changing and with the way Vic Fangio is here in Philly and just with the way Howie approaches his best players, he doesn't really care. Like you could make the argument, well, Devontae Smith didn't have the numbers to earn what he earned, but he got them. Cam Jurgens probably didn't do enough by conventional wisdom to earn what he earned, but Howie paid him. You know what I mean? Like, I think Howie's going to treat that differently, and Quinyon is certainly a guy that they spent a first-round pick on that they like very much. I could see him getting the highest paid corner in football when that deal comes.
Philly's in here. Philly, do me a favor. Philly 500's in here. Zander, what is your, after the first week, what's your biggest concern? Linebacker, safety, corner?
Not linebacker. Corner, safety, probably corner, safety, and a toss-up. Corner, safety, and a toss-up. I feel better about corner for one simple reason. You got Quinyon and Cooper. Now, I know Cooper's going to play the slot, but if you have two guys with that type of skill set that you can, I don't know how they'd move them, but you can move them around. You're telling me they got two of the three guys back there are Quinyon and Coop. I feel a little bit better at that versus at safety. You got Reed, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to play that safety role? And so probably safety would be maybe the bigger concern, and then corner I would go.
The reason that I would say safety is because don't you agree that Vic protects the center of the field and the middle of the field more, and that with a zone corner, all you have to do, Zander, is to make sure that you don't give up the plus 25 play. The big job is going to be reducing that zone. So he needs to have safety. I'm more concerned with safety. I don't believe you have a safety on the field right
Well,
now.
I agree.
And I don't know if you have.
He's got to change it a little bit, right?
Yeah. Listen, and I said this. I don't think Dory Jackson's a bad ball player. I think he's a very competent player. And I think you could probably get away with him a little bit back there playing in a zone. Okay? I think he can. But I don't think, again, we're going to find out here. The first week was not kind to your corners, and they were not kind to your safety.
Yeah.
The off linebacker now, John Campbell dressed it today. Dude, they're not working him at edge. He said that they're putting him out there a couple times, but my feet are where I am right now. I got to worry about being the best linebacker I possibly can be. I don't believe Trotter starts.
If that's where they start him on his ascent. You know, you got to start somewhere. I don't think you take a young. Although Cooper, if you remember Quinion last year, they started Quinion. They had him all over the field in training camp. They had him slot outside on both sides of the corner. I mean, they had him everywhere. So you would think. I just wonder how Campbell the role changes when Dean returns this year. Like even if Dean's not here long term, but Dean does come back this year, that's going to give you more leeway because now you have a good traditional Mike linebacker. You know, and that's going to open up what you can do with Bond and Campbell, because if you have Bond and Campbell out there, which I think is a great tandem, who's the Mike? Probably Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not going to be able to move Campbell as much as you could. Now, hear me out. This is what I've been dreaming of with this defense. And I've been trying to say this to John, but he keeps shitting it down because he doesn't like my takes on Jordan Davis. If Jordan Davis can play in the four-man front, and they can stop the run effectively and get pressure on the quarterback effectively, depending on whether it's a rundown or a passing down. 43. That's what every coordinator dreams of, obviously. Getting pressure and stopping the run with a four-man front. That's going to give you an extra guy in coverage. Now, I don't think they would do this a lot, but envision three linebackers on the field with a four-man front. You got N'Kobe at the mic, and your two off-ball linebackers, two weak-side linebackers are Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell. Or your strong side linebacker would be Campbell. Your weak side linebacker would be Bond. Now I can move him up in all different packages. I can show pressure with one or the other, and I can confuse defenses.
Boy, I'd want to have Bond as my Mike.
No,
I'd want
Bond didn't play Mike last year.
I want Bond as my Mike in a 43. I'd put him in the 43 in the middle of the field because
even if Dean was healthy.
I think Dean, I'd want him out there because he's not a big dude. And because, again, remember, what's his problem? His problem is health. You're going to put a guy in the middle of the field taking on guards and centers at that size who struggles with health versus a guy who plays and can play in as a bigger man. His problem is size, Zander, not ability right now. And plus he runs a 4-4.
But last year, even with the two backers that they used for the majority of the time in the nickel coverage that they ran, Dean was the Mike. It wasn't Bond.
I don't really think they knew what they had with Bond until like maybe 3/3 of the season.
I don't think they knew they had a first team
All-Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't either.
As you pointed out earlier in the show today, that's not that easy to do to get a first team. Yeah.
No, how about this? So you're saying Davis and Carter are your two interior tackles. Your defensive ends would be Ajomo and Hunt?
I guess where
you put Nolan then in a 43?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't think they're going to do a 43 because it's Vic Fangio.
No, but I like the premise of three backers on the field.
Yeah, but like if you can get home with four, if you don't need to load up the front and you can get home with four, like I think that would be crazy lethal because it would give Vic so much versatility in what he did to confuse quarterbacks with Bond and Campbell, who both have coverage ability, who both have Mike ability, basically just traditional linebacker playability, and who both could hypothetically rush the passer.
Well, here
you could scare the shit out of quarterbacks just by showing pressure on one side or the other, bringing the other one. I mean, there's so many different things you could do there if you're Vic.
How about this in a 43? Like we just said, Ajomo and Hunt as your ends, Carter and Davis as your 2 tackles, Bond, Campbell, and Nolan as your backers. And you put Nolan outside with that 4-4.
Right, and then play Bond at the mic.
And then play Bond at the mic.
This is why it's real hard to envision a future with Nakobe Dean.
It is.
Because even in the scenario I laid out where you have a 43, where you have 3 backers on the field, Sileo just gave us a better look at a defense, and Nakobe's still not on the field.
Right. Right. Because, again, to me, it's more about ability and availability. Okay?
And Philly, this is what I was thinking. Philly says Smith, Carter, Davis, Hunt. But envision all those guys being on the field with Moro Ajomo on the line and dropping Smith back to the backer spot, technically the outside linebacker.
I don't think Smith's big enough to play out there on the – where are you going to play him? Are you really going to line him up?
No, I like what you just said.
Yeah. I'm not putting Smith in that position because he's not big enough to take on tackle tight end.
Now you've got all those guys on the field plus Moro Ajomo, who's a great pass rusher.
Yeah. And you get Smith on the field rushing off the corner.
Well, I'll tell you something that's starting to come into play, though, for me. At least it looks like this early in the camp process, early on paper. Vic Fangio is going to be able to be creative. Like the style of players that they're getting right now, that this is no guarantee they all pan out and they're all great and they all stay healthy. But, boy, if things do work out or things pan out with some of these guys, Vic is going to be able to be as creative as he can fathom. You couldn't do that a year ago. You had less versatility in your players. You have a lot of versatility in your players right now. Basically, the only dude who's not all that versatile is obviously Carter's going to be what he's going to be. Davis is going to be what he's going to be, but even he's added versatility. And Nakobe's going to be a Mike. I mean, if Nakobe's on the field, he's a Mike linebacker.
Remember, your versatility is not coming off the field. Okay,
which is who? Bond,
like
Campbell.
Not coming. No, almost everybody can play in multiple packages.
Yeah.
Except for Davis.
Not 90. We're not going to be a nickel 95%. We're going to be a nickel probably 70%.
That's what it is. It's 69.6% of the time you're in
70%. I do wonder if that 4-man front's even better this year, if that number can come down a little bit. Now you'd have to have really strong play from your secondary for that to work, but
especially at the corner position.
Yeah. That's where I worry about that, because if those guys can't be left alone at all, that's going to change what Vic will be able to do. So I think here's the beauty of this, though. These are all great problems. I mean, these are all great problems in the sense of, you have a lot of options at what you can do on the defensive
But you're addressing only the front 7. You're really looking, because your big problems, like you just told me, are safety and corner. Well,
yeah, but,
you know what happens?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be holes that a good quarterback will pick on. But you do have Reed, I mean, who's a solid NFL player. You got Quinion and Coop. I think Adoree Jackson knows how to play the position.
I do too.
I mean, Sidney Brown, while I don't think he fits Vic's system, I do think he has a physicality to him that could be used in some way if you had good coverage from the rest of the guys back there. Now, I don't know if they'll use him like that or not. Makuba's great in cover, great for Vic's style, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to stay on the field or if he's good enough yet to be on the field. So, no, you're right. There's some questions in the secondary, but overall, I feel like they're in a pretty good spot.
Makuba's injured, huh?
I mean, he didn't practice today, so John put out what happened. I got to go and read it.
Yeah. So Makuba, okay, not only is he not – how about this? It's way too early to make any comment about good and bad in a way, but for me, he didn't have a good week, in my opinion. I mean, I've seen some of the film. Gary sent me some video. We got him at 4:30, by the way. I don't know, Zander. I mean, I don't see it yet. And again, 38 days to figure this out. You got Dallas in 38 days.
Yeah.
How much do you think you're going to turn around in 38 days with what you have on the field right now? Do you think you're going to, again, the controlled scrimmages are going to be important. I think you have one with, is it the Patriots or Cleveland? I think it's
Cleveland. Last year,
Patriots. Yeah. You have Cleveland, so you have an organized team activity scrimmage with them. That will tell you a little bit of where they are. They've already dropped Keely Ringo to the second team. They had him starting out. And I'm watching Adoree, and Adoree still – see, here's the problem with Adoree. It's not that he's not good. He's still figuring it out, what his responsibilities are and what they're asking him to do. Yeah. That's my concern here.
Let's see. I just want to play what if for a second. And I know I know Eagles fans won't want me to do this, but I see this comment and I'm just like, from Philly 500, like, can you imagine what this team would look like if they simply just
kept
Gardner, like not extended him, not paid him any more money, simply just kept him on the roster? Are you kidding me, guys? This defense would be scary fucking good.
You got bad at two positions in a way by getting rid of him. You had a guy who's not going to make the team.
Dude, he was making $8 million. He was a bargain player.
You got a guy who's not going to make the team in green, and you got rid of a guy who's the best safety you had on your team and still has years left in him. He's not an old player. He's 27. Dude, I don't know. Slay's going to hurt too, dude.
I know, but I feel a little – Slay makes more sense because he was 35. You know what I mean? Like, I get that moving on from a player.
We were both right on that a year ago where you were like, Sills, we're not the defense we are without him. And I'm like, well, he started going in and out of Atlanta. Even though he did play a ton of fucking snaps a year ago, he played more than I thought he played.
So look at this. This is pretty funny, dude. The Titans just waived wide receiver Treylon Burks.
Man.
That's who they drafted to replace A.J. Brown.
My God almighty. A.J. Brown must just be absolutely just fucking beside himself, going like, you didn't give me an extra $6 million because you fucking wanted to go there. They cut that guy. He's been an absolute train wreck since they drafted that dude.
That's putting it mildly. Yeah, he's been bad.
Boy. So let me ask you something here. Since we're going down this lane, when all is said at the end of the day, who do you think will have a better career, Cooper or Q?
Cooper. I don't know. It's tough because the way Quinyon plays, he could have one of those silent cornerback careers where he's not the most talked about name in the world, but the dude just doesn't get beat. You know what I mean?
I thought the objective was that not to have your name mentioned a lot because
it's like a defenseman in hockey, Sills. That used to be the saying. Yeah. If they're talking about you, that's not a good thing. You don't want to be talked about. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Cooper DeJean just got ranked number 60 by his NFL peers already after year
his
one.
Second year.
No, his first fucking year.
Well,
he had played one season.
I know, man. True. One season.
If the rest of the NFL players are like, yeah, that dude can fucking play. I don't know. It's tough to pick against Cooper DeJean, but I do think Quinyon's going to have a hell of a career as well.
Okay. Here, let me go here with you. What'd you make of them saying, and I believe it was John who asked the question about the fullback. You think you're going to see more of that in this offense this year? You think that's going to be part of it? And also this. Does that mean this is why when Kevin Patullo was asked the question about not a pitch count, but the amount of snaps that Barkley took, do you think they're implementing that fullback because they are concerned about the snaps for Barkley and how many he took, and that's maybe why they want to get two backs in the backfield?
Maybe, but I think it's also just adding to the versatility of what they do, and that's establishing themselves as a brute force offensive football team. There's not many of those teams in the league. In fact, there's zero of them. You could maybe argue the Ravens are a little bit of that because they have Derrick Henry, but outside of him, they're kind of a cutesy team. Lamar is a cutesy in terms of the way that he, maneuvers and shifts and shakes and bakes, which is great. It's fun to watch, but they're not. Eagles are a brute force offensive team.
Yes.
They want to bully you. That's what they want to do. And bringing in a fullback more in the picture makes sense. Jeffrey Lurie brought that up. You've now heard it in press conferences. So I would anticipate, they're going to use the fullback a little bit more. I don't know how much. What are you talking? 5%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this, man? What'd you make of the defense winning the day today in day 4? Who won the day, and the defense won the day today. The offense, again, I'm not taking anything away that the offense got stymied by that defense. I'm just saying they may be working on something. John will have more of that on what they were working on after the program here with Birds 365 on what they were actually working on. But what'd you make of that? You think this offense has a chance of struggling out of the gate? Do you think it has, again, like it struggled a year ago? What's going to be the difference this year, Zander?
I think the big takeaway from that is that I actually had a different take, that I was happy because I don't have as many questions on the offense coming in. I had more questions on the defense. And when I hear the defense is having good days against our offense, that gives me more optimism on the upside of what the defense can be. I put it in my bold predictions. They're going to be a top 5 defense. I'm going to double down on it and triple down on it and quadruple down on it all the rest of training camp and through the year. This is going to be a top defensive unit in the league. And I feel better about that. Now, from the offensive side of the ball, I don't really know, because how much are they trying to push the needle and add on to what they did last year in terms of passing and more chances and some of those things? It all seems good with Kevin Patullo. It does seem like they're more confident in everything. I'm not really taking much of it, honestly. I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah, but here's my question again. Okay, why am I going to believe that this offense is going to start fast when it didn't a year ago? What's the difference? And you lost a guard who was part of that dynamic running attack. Why will this be different this season? I mean, what, different coordinator now? You got to get probably the same approach. Are you going to run the ball? Are you going to throw the ball more? I mean, I don't know if they're going to. Why would you throw the ball against a team that can't stop the run? I mean, if you're going to play against the Cowboys,
why would you throw the ball when you have 5 offensive linemen?
I wouldn't.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel pretty good about the offense. I get some of the concerns or some of the questions about what they will be this year, but overall, I feel like they're going to be pretty good. Now, maybe they need to be more than they were last year in the sense that they're going to have to win some games early for the defense while that defense gets acclimated. But you might see a little bit of both of that, by the way. Like, some of the offensive guys are talking like the defense has a head start. Did you hear? I forget who that was that said that today. They were like, well, the offense, is installing a new play, has a new offensive coordinator versus the defense. It has all the same everything, and they're coming in ahead of us. And I'm like, well, I don't know if they're ahead of you. You guys had 10 of 11 starters returning, but overall, I feel pretty good about it. I'm not really
go with me on this for a little bit, and let me get this out here on this. Do you think this will be the first year that the offense will be the identity of Hurts? Because I don't believe any year he's played it's been, and I'll tell you why. It's been the identity of the coordinators. The first one was Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen's a RPO guy. He took that to Indianapolis with him. Even though that guy, Anthony Richardson, blows out loud.
He stinks.
Okay, that's his forte. Brian Johnson, what he wanted to do is what Jaden Daniels is doing now in Washington.
Yeah, but I think that's a little overrated.
And then get this last year, that wasn't Jalen Hurts' style of football, running the ball a year ago. That was Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
okay, so, I mean, will this be the first year where the identity of the offense is his?
I don't know. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I put a little bit more value on the chameleon nature of Hurts, where he can be a different quarterback depending on
I'm not saying he can't adapt. I'm saying
no, I know you're not. I'm just saying I'm not as worried about him, about that being true or not true, what the question you asked. Now, just to answer your question, I think this year is probably the year it will be more Jalen Hurts's, but I don't care as much whether it is or if it isn't, because they've asked him to do something different. And 2 of the 3 years that he's been the starter, ultimately he was the correct quarterback for what they needed. So I think that being that chameleon, even if it means it's not your offense or the ball's not in your hands as much again, I don't really care, because I think they've identified what's going to work based on, in any given year.
Well, let me ask you though, this way then. Did Jalen fit into the coordinators? Or did the coordinators fit into Jalen? I mean, I look at it this way. Okay, most quarterbacks, the coordinators have to fit in to the quarterback skill set. It seems to me that Jalen has fit in to the coordinator skill set. Every year they've had a different approach because, and you're saying this.
Is that overrated? Like, and this is what I mean. Is it overrated?
Wait a minute. To your question, overrated. Wait a minute. It has to be because they've won. It has to be. You can't just glaze over it and go, fuck that. Okay. He's not, he's fitting into being what the coordinators want. Well, okay. Well, if that's the case, good. Because they fucking won 2 NFC titles in the Super Bowl, dude. I mean, how can that even to my look? I have to.
That's why I say is it overrated because like all these
maybe.
coordinators show up to places, and I'm not blaming them because they got the $50 million quarterback who makes all the money and is the highest paid guy in the organization. But they bend everything to fit the need of the quarterback, and they make the quarterback look really damn good doing it. They got all these passing yards, and everything looks pretty, and they're talked about in the MVP conversation. And then when push comes to shove, and they got to win a playoff game, they can't fucking do it. Meanwhile, the only other quarterback that I would comp in terms of a chameleon nature, and it's different, I know this, is Mahomes a little bit. Like they got rid of his pass catcher. Okay, Mahomes, you're going to have to be a little bit different. Now, his is different in the sense that if he doesn't play great, they're effed. So it's a little different. But they're the one team that hasn't bent everything to be able – like, for example, if you picked Mahomes out of a scrap heap and you were like, build the perfect offense around him, I'll tell you what you wouldn't do. You wouldn't get rid of Tyreek Hill.
No.
You'd say that guy fits him perfect.
No, right.
So he's kind of had to be that chameleon and has made it there. Hurts in a different way has had to be a chameleon. He's gone there versus the offense is built for Joe Burrow. He gets 5,000 passing yards, and damn, does he look good, but they don't go very far. The offense in Buffalo, I think it's a lot. See, the problem with the Buffalo thing for me is I think he's the one quarterback that's actually done everything to get there, and the team around him –
can't do it.
Just let him down. The coaches, the team, everybody lets him down. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a different one, but I kind of like the chameleon nature of Hurts and being able to bend what he needs to do.
To what you're saying, though, I found this out this morning. Baker Mayfield's had 8 different offensive coordinators in the last 8 years.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But one thing hasn't changed? His style of play. Hurts has changed his style of play 4 different years.
Well, Hurts is a little more versatile than Baker. You agree? Just in the sense that a lot more.
A lot more.
More. He's more versatile than most.
Yes. And he's willing to do it, which is also something that people don't give him enough credit for because you would have a lot of bitching by a lot of quarterbacks in this league if you said, hey, do me a favor. We're going to go to this style of play. So,
well, I think Joy Taylor touched on this a little bit last week, but I saw somebody put on social media somewhere. I don't know who it was, so if you can credit them in the chat if anybody knows who it was. But somebody put up, everybody's always talking about stats with Hurts, and I get it. It's the quarterback. It's the way they're discussed and talked about and ranked and all these different things. I understand that, but when Jalen Hurts maximized his stats in 22 or 23 and they're 22 and had the best Super Bowl ever and out threw Mahomes and had 340 passing yards and all these different things, he lost the Super Bowl and he had the great stats. And then when he didn't have the great stats, but he got the win, like now nobody cares about the win. But when he lost the Super Bowl, nobody gave a fuck about the stats because he lost. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like he's got this mentality that kind of defies the way that the modern quarterback is viewed.
It's like he can't please everybody.
Yeah, and I think he's right. So I don't really care about what it looks like. I just want to keep focus on the winning and whatever that looks like. Where I agree with you is, hey, maybe that winning looks different, or maybe it requires a different version of you this year. That I agree with, but I don't want to put him in a box in the sense of, oh, you got to be this, or if you're not this, then I'll think this of you. Just Jalen, just keep boxing it, blocking everybody out. Block out the noise, block out Sileo, block out McMullen, block out Cam Newton. Fuck them all. Keep doing what you got to do to win football games, and everything else will align as it has to this point.
I'm going to call bullshit on Hurts, though.
But
I'm going to also do this. This is the first time I've seen him actually back somebody that he likes. Kevin Patullo has been groomed for this job since he got here. No, bro. No, he hasn't. You passed him over twice. And I respectfully disagree with this. However, I think it's a good thing that we're hearing Hurts back a coach. Since day one, this is him talking now. Since day one, Kevin has been, he's been kind of groomed for this moment for right now. Now, the most important thing is as long as the quarterback feels that, and as long as the quarterback feels that, I guess that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
He does feel that. But that's the first coordinator I've heard him really go to bat for in life.
I think there might be some lessons there as well. Remember, Jalen Hurts is 27-year-old young man. You know what I mean? I think he regrets not everything, but maybe said, oh, yeah, probably shouldn't have made that one comment last year that talked about, you know what I mean? So I think some of it's learning his lesson, but I do get a sense of confidence and comfort from Jalen and really the whole offense about Kevin Patullo, a lot more so than I did about previous new coordinators. So I think that's a positive thing from the offense.
Do you feel more positive about Kevin Patullo at this time of the year right now than you did Kellen Moore a year ago?
Well, it's tough to say because I think we thought Kellen Moore was going to be so much different than he was. Like, remember what we were projecting?
He was going to air it out.
We thought Jalen, here comes. Let's see if Jalen can handle it. You know what I mean? Like, we thought an air raid attack was coming and it wasn't that at all, which I think is a credit to Kellen, actually. So I don't know what to expect, but I feel pretty good about the offense. A lot less to do with Kevin Patullo and a lot more to do with the 10 guys that are returning and half of them being freaking damn near all pro caliber players. And the offensive line and the skill position guys, 2 receivers, a running back, the 2 tackles, even the 2 guard or the 1 guard, at least the center, the quarterback. I mean, apparently Dallas Goedert's having a great camp. I feel a little bit more to do with that than it is with Patullo, but I am confident in Patullo. So
let's get to some of these supers, Zander, then we'll get to JAKIB.
Let's do it. Christopher Darker, what's up, brother? Appreciate everybody, by the way, for all the super chats today. He says Jalen's mentality is built for Philly. Any other quarterback would fold under the pressure we put on our quarterbacks, not to mention the media.
Agreed. I think it's tough to play here.
It is definitely tough to play
because you know why? You don't get this. If
I don't want to be easy to play. Like people say that though, like I think that's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah. Like what do you want to play for a team that doesn't or a fan base that doesn't give a shit?
Hey, Christopher, let me give you a mentality, okay? And I told Zander this the other day. You guys know I do that morning show in Tampa, right? Tampa's worried about winning the NFC East. You guys are worried about winning the Super Bowl.
The South, but yeah.
The South, right. Okay, there's a whole different mentality chasing the NFC South versus chasing the Super Bowl.
I do agree, though, with his sentiment about Hurts' mentality. He is a rare breed type of dude where he, the way he thinks and the way he talks and communicates and all those different things. And I do think it bodes well for a city that requires you to be able to handle pressure. McNabb famously, obviously, sometimes felt the need to have to answer to people and felt the need to, respond to the critics and quantify and justify and all these different things. Jalen is he's just different with that stuff. And I do think that works really well.
You know who Donovan McNabb reminded me of? Somebody's ex-wife. That's who he reminded me of. Somebody's ex-wife, always bitching about alimony.
Abe says, could it be that Jalen felt that Patullo earned it, overlooked 2 years in a row, and now getting the ability to show us just like Jalen? Actually, that's a good call.
Abe, that's a great take. I'm with you.
That's a good. It's similar to the Jalen story as well. Yeah. That's a good take right there.
Maybe that's why he does relate to him because he was passed over.
Abe, good stuff. Kyle Kokorski says, if Campbell starts week 1, what are his chances he could win Defensive Rookie of the Year? I would say pretty high. Yeah. Pretty high.
Especially when you got Carter and Davis in front of you.
And you have the defensive coordinator that's going to put you in the right position. You know what I mean? Absolutely. You're in a good spot, Kyle. So I think so. Ryan says, yo, Big Z, you a fantasy football guy? I am not. I actually never play fantasy. But somebody wanted to do a JAKIB League this year. I know you guys were talking about it in the chat earlier today. If you send me the link, I will join a JAKIB League. But any other league, any other bullshit league with a buy-in and going to bars with dudes for draft,
that's it.
Count me out.
That's why I don't do fantasy football because
count
you
me out
go to
on
bars
that bullshit. I'm
with
going to watch
25 dudes, and you got to hang out with 25 dudes at a bar talking about who's your third-round pick. And I'm like, Big Sills doesn't hang out at bars with dudes.
You know what I think it does, but because I've become more of a football commentator, you know what I think fantasy can do to someone like me, and I'm not criticizing anybody who plays, but I think it can alter your objectivity of the game. You know what I mean? You go into games and you're like, oh, I want this certain player to score a touchdown, and it's that's all you care about now is the touchdowns and the stats and the bullshit, and it stops your ability to look at the game, and analyze it objectively and properly. So I don't really play Riot, but I would do a JAKIB League. That's it. General says, Sills, going to be a great year. AK, Eagles will suck. Ringo sucks. Jalen's a caboose. Too many losses. OC sucks. Also, Sills, Eagles to the NFC title game.
Hey, I don't know yet. I don't know.
Devin says, in a way, Philly has the easiest offensive coordinator job to take on as a first-year coordinator. All that talent, you can choose how you want to utilize it. Hard to F up. Yeah, that's a catch-22.
Yeah,
Devin.
but I'll tell you this: if
Yeah,
you
that's a
lose it,
catch-22, man. If you're not top 8, you're fucking out of here.
that's
I mean,
right.
come
man.
on, man.
Hey, you'd be lucky to get a job at Temple if you leave
Look at
this
Brian
place.
Johnson. He was the 8th ranked offense in the NFL. Philadelphia talks about him like he's a stiff. 8th ranked offense in the NFL. It's a catch-22. Christopher says 4 months of Super Bowl work. Thank you, bro. I think that's our last one.
Good. All right, man. Yeah. Hey, yeah, like you said, it's a double-edged sword in Philly.
Yeah, it is.
You want the OC gig? Great. Well, you're either going to get a head coaching job in the NFL or you're going to get whacked and you're going to be coaching at Nebraska. And that, right? You're going to be some sort of GA at Nebraska if you don't win that
I
gig.
actually saw who's the Nebraska coach now? Shoot, Matt Rule.
The guy from Matt Rule.
I saw him down in Cape May this summer. He loves Cape May. He's got a big old house on the beach in Cape May.
Got to thank Temple for that job, baby, because that's what got him that house.
No, he bought that.
Oh, wait a minute. Was that the Carolina job money?
I think it was the Carolina job.
Yeah, it was the Carolina money that.
I
I
forgot. That Carolina coach coming.
That's right. If you work at Temple, you're getting a house in Ocean City. You ain't getting it in Cape May.
I'm a Cape May guy. I'm not an Ocean City guy. All right, everybody. I appreciate it. Still, it's great stuff, brother.
Show right after ours, right?
Yes, sir. 6 to 8 tonight. Birds 365. A recap of practice number 4 on the field for the Birds. Johnny Mack was down there at the NovaCare complex, so we'll get all his takeaways and what he saw at day 4, the position battles and how they're all developing and all these different changes that we're seeing and what John is seeing live and in person. So that'll be tonight, 6 to 8 p.m.
You got it. We'll make sure we catch that show right after this. Thanks a lot, Big Z. Don't forget, too, at 5:30, we got Howard Eskin. He will join us at 5:30. Well, Gary Cobb was also out there, so you're going to get a double dip because Gary was at the NovaCare Center, and